Hello, my name is Mark Saunders, and this is a YouTube video presentation on how to draft and send out the email invitation to participate for questionnaires. It's for use with online questionnaires, ones like you might design on cloud-based services such as Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey. It's one of a series of YouTube presentations on my website, Mark Saunders on Research Methods. The link is on the bottom left-hand corner of each slide. So just to give an overview of what the email should look like, first of all, it should fit on one screen if at all possible. You should summarise the research and why it's useful, explain why the respondent's response is valued, and stress that their participation is voluntary. You should also stress confidentiality if the data are going to be confidential, and if you are able to offer anonymity, you could say this as well. You need to explain how to access the questionnaire, including giving a hyperlink, and so this can then be clicked on directly and go to the questionnaire. You also need to explain how you're going to use the research and the data that your respondent gives you, and obviously include a date for return. As well as this, you need to state whom to ask questions of and where to contact them, and give that contact information, preferably an email and a telephone number. And finally, you need to say thank you for the help. So here we have an entire email on the left hand side of the screen, and we'll look at the email in overview first of all before we go into the individual parts of it. Your email should, if at all possible, as I said before, fit on one screen. The font you use should be easy to read, something like Arial or Times New Roman or Calibri, and it should be 11 or 12 point size. And finally, please do remember to spell and grammar check your email before sending it. There's nothing worse than having an email arrive with spelling mistakes or grammar that is poor. We're going to start by looking at the email subject line, and when we look at this, it should be clear and explain the purpose well. So in this case, town centre or retail parks, ? Your views on shopping. And just to reiterate, the length of the entire email should fit on one screen easily if at all possible. We're now going to look at the salutation and the first set of messages. So let's look at this in a bit larger font. So here we have the salutation, Dear Ms. Jasmine, and then we have the first set of message following. So the salutation gives the person's title, in this case Ms, and their name if at all possible. The next thing it says is what the research is about. I'm inviting you to take part in a research project to understand people's views about town centre and retail shopping and complete a questionnaire. We then say why this is useful. Your responses are important in enabling me to obtain as full an understanding as possible of people's preferences and the reasons for them. And then finally, we stress, however, your decision to take part is entirely voluntary. So that's the opening set of messages. Next, we talk about time and confidentiality. And here we talk about, in particular, the time it's going to take. So we say here, if you do decide to take part, the questionnaire should take you about 5 minutes to complete. And then we move on to say, please answer the questions. And if you wish to add further comments, there is space to do so at the end. And then we move on to confidentiality. The information you provide will be treated in the strictest confidence. And then a little bit more explanation. You will notice you are not asked to include your name or any contact information anywhere on the questionnaire. The next thing we do is we tell people how to access the actual questionnaire and how the answers are going to be used. And so our text here starts off by saying, to begin the questionnaire, please click on the link, and then we have the hyperlink immediately underneath. It then says how the answers will be used. The answers from your questionnaire and others will be used as the main dataset for my research project for my degree in business management at the University of Anytown, so it's nice and clear. And sometimes here we may wish to offer a token reward for participation, such as entry in a prize draw. However, once you've done this, the person is no longer anonymous because they've had to let you have their email address and name to be entered into the draw. So you have to be careful with the wording earlier if you choose to do this. Now we're going to look at the return date, contacts, people to contact, and also the thanks statement. So we start off looking at the return date. We preface this by saying, I hope that you will find completing the questionnaire enjoyable. and then please complete and return the questionnaire by 23rd of May, and then you'd put the year after that. And this return date is normally 2 weeks after you first sent out the email asking them to complete the questionnaire. We then add a little bit about who to contact for further information. So we say here, if you have any questions or would like further information, please do not hesitate to email me at, and then the email address, or telephone me and then a mobile phone number. And then finally, we thank the recipient for their help. The final stage of the email to ask people to participate in the questionnaire, with the hyperlink obviously, is the signature and address. And here, with the signature, we actually scan in our actual signature rather than just using a font which is on the computer. Underneath that, we put our title and with our forename and family name, and then we include our position and the organisation. And then finally, we give our postal address in full. And that's pretty much how to write an email to invite people to take part in an online questionnaire survey. I hope you found this useful, and here are some references and further reading. Here there are 2 books of particular use: Don Dillman and colleagues' book Internet, Phone and Mixed Mode Surveys, the Tailored Design Method, which talks about how to design such emails, and then my own book with Phil and Adrian, Research Methods of Business Students, where in particular chapter 11, but then figure 11.2, which gives an actual example as well. I hope you found this YouTube video presentation useful, and I'd be really grateful if you'd subscribe to my channel, Mark Saunders on Research Methods, and also told your friends and colleagues about the channel as well. I'm adding new videos to the channel nearly every week, and hopefully they'll be of help to you in your own research.